Hello, everyone, and good morning. Welcome to our Telloyouth Friday. Friday is our lifestyle biohack Friday. And what does that mean? It means everything that you have access to outside of, your Telloyouth and your Telomega that we talk about and we love. We are talking about how everything else will affect us and what is it that you or us, we can all do to tweak our wellness, to tweak our rejuvenation, because we have our chronological clock, which is the age, on, the calendar. And then we have our biological clock, which is the inside clock. It's all of our systems, organs, and glands. And it's, we can be younger on the inside and it will reflect on the outside as well. So you can be younger than your chronological age. And so we hope that all of these things that we share with you really do help you to support your rejuvenation process and to help you reverse that biological clock. And today we're going to talk about nature, the circadian cycles, the circadian rhythms. Good morning, Dr. Chris. This is one of your most favorite topics, and for everyone on the call, if I know anybody who focuses on circadian rhythms, it is Dr. Chris. He is a master at this. I learned a lot from him years ago about how important it was for the body clock. So good morning, Dr. Chris. Welcome.
Good morning, Dr. Tina, and thank you for that introduction. And good morning, everyone. Thanks for joining us. This really is a fascinating call, and mostly because it's a somewhat of a eye-opener, how much we don't live with nature. Our biological age, our biohacking, all bio means life. And how we're connected to life is through the sun and through the earth and through the food and just all the cycles that we go through. And that's what we're going to talk about today, just the cycles of life and how they impact us. And Dr. Tina, where should we begin?
Well, a lot of people don't even know what a circadian rhythm is. And it's our physical, mental, and behavioral. And this is one of the things that's important, what we do. It's the changes that occur or that the body goes through over a 24-hour cycle, 24-hour period. We have all of these different things that are happening. And I find it so fascinating that there are three things that are kind of connected to the circadian rhythms when we're looking at categorizing them. One of them is our sleep-wake cycle. The next is our body temperature and how that changes throughout the day, that 24-hour cycle. And then our hormone cycles, they change. So to give you an idea, and this, by the way, isn't just us humans, it's animals. Think about hibernation cycles for bears. Think about the sleep-wake cycles for animals. Think about, the reproductive cycles. We all have these different cycles that we need to honor and support. And the challenge is that we have so much technology and we have so many things that we have access to that we end up getting out of those natural rhythms and cycles with our body, with nature, and it really throws us off. So when we look at how this affects us, sleep disorders, 50 to 70 million people in the United States have sleep disorders. That is a key, people, that your circadian rhythm is off. Okay, so insomnia, sleep apnea, those are the two biggies. And then we're looking at the hormonal cycles, people not sleeping at night. That means that our melatonin and our cortisol cycles are off, and we can fix that. We can repair that. And melatonin, in case you don't know what that is, it's the central relayer for our dark and light cycles. When we fall asleep, when we need to wake up. So there are different ways that we can fix this, and they don't even cost money. It costs us behavioral changes. That's what we need to take a look at. Dr. Chris, where do you want to go from here?
I just emphasize all the different areas that we take for granted. It's just our circadian cycles, our rhythms. They impact our alertness, so mental focus and clarity, our hunger, appetite, metabolism, fertility, as you mentioned, the hormonal cycles, our mood, physiological conditions. And so it's important that we work with these cycles. So it's about staying on a regular pattern of waking and sleeping, staying on a regular pattern of when we eat. And so these all help support our ability to stay young and healthy and strong. And it's interesting how the doctors that look at the mental illnesses like anxiety and depression, they really closely connected to the biological changes that impact us. So if you get on a regular schedule again, they find that it really helps deal with depression and anxiety. And it's interesting here that one of the research societies, International Agency for Research on Cancer, they classified shift work. This is where individuals work outside of the normal daily cycle, is suspected to be a human carcinogen. So it really shows how important it is that our sleep cycle, our eating cycle, all just get in alignment with nature. And that's what it's about, getting in alignment with nature, getting that morning sunshine that tells our body clock that it's time to awake and start all the enzymes and hormones and signal molecules that we talk about all the time to be there for making energy. And then during the afternoon hours, how to this sun is so important. And it doesn't take a lot, 15, 30 minutes, and connecting with that the UV light that helps us to make our vitamin D. And when we're in areas we can't do that, that's when we know to supplement. So much has been revealed over the last few decades of how important our biological cycles are and how much they rely and depend on maintaining our health and our integrity. So can we talk a little bit how it regulates, how food regulates our tissues and things like that, Dr. Tina? I want to move into that subject because we take so much of our food for granted and not understanding that when we talk about biological cycles, we're talking about it's your location, where you live on the planet, the latitude. So if you're living along the equator where the sun and the night cycle is pretty much even, then you have a whole different requirement in the body and the foods you would take in versus living more in the northern latitudes, or if you're in the southern hemisphere, the more southern extremes. You'll find that your cycles change because now you're experiencing the seasons much more. You have a longer spring and fall season. The winter is where things really shut down and the days are so much shorter. And it's the light that controls the metabolic dynamics of not just how the body works, but also the food that is available in that region, in that area. So we're talking about eating the foods that are designed for your location, not the foods that we can import and have, our fruits and vegetables from the southern regions, from South America, where it's summer and we can eat those things in the winter. Well, your body clock isn't designed to do that. These are the things that we're trying to help you understand, how we need to be in alignment with our circadian cycles where we live. And this is how our body clock is in alignment with nature. So, Dr. Tina, a little bit about the food or anything you want to share there before I share some more?
I think that we've gone away from intuitive eating as well. So up here, in Minnesota, we have 4 seasons. And in the summer, intuitively, it's hot. We don't want to eat a lot of food. And so listen to your internal clock and allow yourself to eat all of the good fruits and vegetables. But when it comes to the fall, the winter, as it gets cold, intuitively, I know that I do not want those salads. I'm looking for soups. I'm looking for the foods that are going to help warm up my body during that time of the year. So I think intuitive eating needs to be brought to our attention again. And it is intuitively, what am I feeling like eating today? What would I like to have? And a lot of this we just get away from and we give in to the standard American diet. So allow yourself to become more of an intuitive eater. It will help your body. I want to just, before we move into this other area that we were going to talk about, I want to mention, just to highlight, what really happens when our rhythm's off. When we go against our rhythm, we can't handle stress very well. Dr. Chris mentioned the anxiety and depression. We end up in weight gain. And number one, we cannot sleep. We have insomnia. And since the pandemic, there has been such a surge in sleep disorders. 2 in every 3rd American is either sleeping less, they're not able to sleep very well, or they're sleeping excessively because they've been triggered into depression. They learned behavioral changes to be in fear and not really get out there. So we have to just start working on consciously getting out of that old mindset that we've all been bombarded with, and keep that outside of our bubble, and get back in the outdoors, because that really does help as well. Dr. Chris, back to you.
Yes. So when you really take interest and want to prioritize what we're talking about here today, the 3 most critical factors to reset your biorhythms, your biocycles, to best biohack what we want to do to get back to nature. It's the 3 things are food, light, and exercise. So when we say food, just as Dr. Tina, you eat the food that is in the season of where you live. And as you get more in balance, your intuitive senses will tell you what kinds of things you want to be eating. So if you're in the northern climates, instead, the root vegetables are going to be what you're craving during the fall and the winter seasons. So that's how food plays a role. The light tells your body where you are and what season you're in. And the first thing in the morning is the red light. The red light is what awakens the body and helps it understand its natural body clock. And so the red light is throughout the day, but it's most dominant in the morning. So getting a good 15 to 30 minutes of the exposure of that red light, going out for a walk in the morning, or going out and just reading outdoors. And again, it's when the opportunity, especially in these warmer months, during the summer months, we have the opportunity to get outdoors and take advantage of getting that light exposure that helps us. And Dr. Tina and I were seeing so many of the new technologies that are coming out, red light therapies and UV light therapies, because everyone's understanding and realizing how important light is to maintain the health and well-being of our bodies. And then there's exercise. And now we're not talking about, being an athlete or competitive. We're talking about just good exercise to get the oxygen into the system, movement that, feels good. So just the walking, and the key to exercise is to get that stretching and movement with all the joints. So you really connect the whole body through exercise, and that allows for the oxygen uptake, because again, how do we survive? We live with, the electromagnetic fields of the earth, the light from the sun, and the water, and the ability to really circulate and move the oxygen through the body. So it's so important that you have a better understanding of what the good foods are, the good light, and the healthy exercise in order to reset your clock and get you back started. Dr. Tina.
Yes, I'm going to just quickly go through, how can you fix this? If you're not experiencing good deep sleep, if you're, in weight gain, if you're dealing with anxiety, depression, or you can't handle stress, the key thing is we need to get your circadian rhythms back in balance. So how do you fix it? You need to manage your exposure to light. Like Dr. Chris mentioned, he's talking about the sunrise, getting out there and seeing the morning sun come up, that beautiful red oranges. Those are going to be really great. And actually the sunset at night as well will help put you to sleep. So that's getting back in tune with the light and the light therapies. What are some of the other things you can do? If you need to have more energy during the day, get outside and get more exposure to that light. It will help you be more alert. So many people work indoors during the day. They don't get the outdoor light. Indoor lights are not the same. Okay, so getting yourself out there. How to get better sleep: darken the bedroom. Okay, make sure you have a really dark room to get better sleep at night. Remove all of the lights, any little twinkling lights in your room. Even sometimes, your cell phone, you need to turn it off, put it into airplane mode, move it away from you. So many people are sleeping with their watches now because they want to monitor their sleep. And guess what? The very monitoring of your sleep with a sleep watch can actually interrupt your sleep because of the EMF exposure. So if you are not getting sleep and you're wearing one of those watches, a smartwatch, you might want to take it off and test this for a good week or so. Wear an eye mask, avoid bright lights or electronics 2 hours before bedtime. To put yourself to sleep, read a book or articles, but not on your phone or on your electronics. A lot of people now are using sound therapy, where they will have a sound frequency machine with waves or white noise or sounds like a fan going in the background, and that can help people who are dealing with anxiety. It's very calming for them. The best time for resetting your circadian cycles is getting to bed between 8 p.m. and 11 p.m. If you go to bed after midnight, you are really throwing off your cycles. And the best time to wake up is between 6:30 and 7 in the morning, getting, 7 to 9 hours of sleep. Important to wake up at the same time every day. That will help your cycles. Limit caffeine, alcohol, especially if you are a slow metabolizer of those. You need to make sure that you keep those out of your afternoon regime. And there's so many things that you can do that don't cost anything. You just need to change some behaviors. And one of the other things that's so important is just getting outside. It helps you to get the exercise that Dr. Chris mentioned. It helps you to get the natural vitamin D. It brings down anxiety being out in nature. It can be social. Remember during the pandemic, there was that isolation. We've got to get out of that feeling of isolation and get back and connected with others. It improves our sleep. You're going to feel better about yourself. Focus and creativity is going to be better. It gives you better immunity when you're outdoors. It helps to build your immune system. You get access to so many different bacteria and things that really strengthen our immune system. And it also helps you with your weight, keeping us at a healthy weight. Dr. Chris, What would you like
Yes,
to add?
Dr. Tina, you bring up so many good points. The fact that when we get out of these natural rhythms and cycles, what does it create? It creates stress. And this is why Teleyouth and Telomega are so powerful, because they help us mediate that stress. But it's not just about mediating the stress, it's about taking advantage of, now that I've been able to handle the stress more efficiently, I can reestablish my natural cycles and reconnect with nature so that I can start to rejuvenate even in a faster pace. So I want to just emphasize a little bit more of what you said as far as, turning off all the electronics after sunset, because as soon as you turn on the TV or your computer and the sun has already gone down, because now the sun is telling your body, oh, it's time to reestablish different hormones, different signals for the sleep cycle. Well, as soon as you expose yourself to those non-native blue lights that come from our electronic equipment, that's telling the body that, oh, it's 12 in the afternoon. Time to stay awake, time to make energy, not to calm down, not to start releasing our melatonin to go to sleep. So, and the same thing happens with when we eat after sunset, because now your brain is telling your pancreas, here's the time to reestablish all the enzymes that you used up during the day. Here's where you replenish your enzymatic stores. But if you eat something after sunset, now the pancreas is being told by the brain to repair and reset, but your pancreas is experiencing the food, so it's saying, oh no, I have to distribute more enzymes and create digestion. So you have these conflicting signals. And this is the great stress that we create on ourselves when we disconnect with nature. We're sending all these disconnected signals that confuse the body, that confuse the natural rhythms. Now it happens, a day or two during a month, no big deal. You're going out, you're enjoying the evening, you go out of your natural cycles. But it's when you do it on a daily basis and you create this constant stress. This is what we call about the stress defense mode. A little bit of stress you can handle, you can recover because your body's resilient. This is what the Teleyouth does for you. It gives you greater resilience and strength and vitality. But when you go against it on a constant daily basis, this is when that stress mode really breaks down the body. You get into chronic stress and your body has to learn how to turn it off, because it's just turned on and stays in a defense mode rather than a healing and energizing mode. So it becomes harder to digest food. It becomes harder to heal and repair. It becomes harder to make all the brain chemicals, the hormone chemicals, the immune chemicals that keep the body balanced and healthy and strong. So it's really about reconnecting to the nature's natural rhythms and cycles. So that's what I wanted to share, Dr. Tina, and just emphasize, and we can start wrapping it up here unless you have anything else to add.
I have one more hack for your circadian cycle, and that is when you're traveling. This is why jet lag happens. We throw off our circadian cycles. One of the best things that you can do is when you get off of the airplane, grab your bags, and you get to your place, you want to go outside, get your shoes off, go outside and put your feet on the bare earth. Obviously in the winter, or you're going somewhere where there's snow, it's a little more challenging. But once you do this, you have the ability to connect with the earth's magnetism. Your body starts to reset itself to that area, that clock. And it truly helps you to get rid of jet lag, reset your circadian cycle to that part of the world that you're in. And it's just because we are not separate from Earth. We are part of the Earth. And that's part of the problem that we have getting out of our natural rhythms and cycles, is that we've detached from that natural part of being in rhythm with the morning, the evening. And one of the questions that came into the chat is, what is the best time to be in the sun in the morning and in the PM. Again, that's sunrise in the morning and sunset. So that's going to change for everyone going throughout the year. And that's the best time for resetting your circadian rhythm.
And there's about a 2-hour window there, right, Dr. Tina, where let's say you get up in the morning and from 8 to 10, you want to take advantage of getting that 15 to 30 minutes. And then between 4 and 6 at night, depending upon, where you are and when the sun rises and the sun sets. But of course, now we're in, the
Later.
middle of summer. We've got the longest day. So it's getting up a little bit earlier. So it might be 7 to 9 instead of 8 to 10. So go according to what the clock is to where you live. And those are the ways to reset and establish your circadian cycles.